Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Transitions Collective. I'm your host, Mary Clavier. This week I'm talking to you on a solo episode all about how to prepare for your branded photo shoot. I recently went through a rebrand with Brief Transitions. I got some amazing new photos. But in order to do that and to do it successfully, there was a lot of preparation that went into it up front. So I wanted to share some of those tips and tricks and learnings with all of you to help you with your next photo shoot and how to make it more efficient and save you time and all of those things. So the first thing is I'm assuming here that you know why you're having a photo shoot. So it could be because you're rebranding and you want to show off new product photos. It could be you want to add, you're coming out with a new collection, or you want new photos of yourself for your brand and your look, whatever it might be. But I'm assuming you know and you have a purpose to why you're doing that. Okay, so let's jump right in. So the first thing that I want to cover is the logistics. A lot of people wonder, how do I do this? How do I find a photographer? What if I need models and all of those kinds of things. So I started by doing some research on photographers and seeing who was able to work with what I was looking to do. So for Brief Transitions, I was looking to do a refresh on my branding with new product shots that included models, and then also have new lifestyle shots as well that I could use on social media and on my website. So women actually wearing the underwear so that I could show, Brief Transitions in action. So I was looking for two things. I was looking for product photography and lifestyle photography. A lot of photographers are very specific in what they do, which is great because it keeps them to their niche that's, helpful for them and maybe what they enjoy the most. But I felt like I was very close to you for a second. So finding someone that can do what you need is part of it. Finding a photographer that is comfortable with the type of shots that you want to have. So researching them, look at their social media and their website and wherever else to see some of their photos and what they do and see if it has the look and style of what you're looking for. I happened to go with someone that I used, Alexis Damon, who was fantastic, and I'll link her information in the show notes too. And she actually had her own product business before, a leggings and activewear company, and she also has now turned more into doing lifestyle photography. So she actually has experience with both product and lifestyle, which is something that I was looking for. So that worked out really well for me. So depending on what you want, also depending on how many images you're looking for, and those kinds of things, it will impact, your budget and what you're looking for there. So, okay. So the first thing is really looking for, look for photographers that are going with your look and can do what you like and what you're looking for. Another part of that is knowing if you need models or not. So in my case, I needed models. I wasn't my own model. If it was like a branded photo shoot, I would be the person because I'm the brand. That would be a different story. But looking for models, some photographers will help you with that and some won't. So it, again, depends on their depth and realm and what they do. So understand if you have a budget for models, what that is, and if your photographer could help you with that or not. That could be a question that you ask them. There are also modeling agencies. So mine was for postpartum. I happen to know that there are agencies that work with pregnant models, for example. If you have a maternity clothing, shout out to my friend Stephanie at Stowaway Collection, because she actually gave me a lot of tips around that because she has to use a agency for her clothes since she's looking always for pregnant models to wear the maternity clothes. Okay, so knowing, if you need models and how you're going to get them is another part of logistics. I'd say the third part of logistics is if you have ideas of, again, what you're looking for in terms of where you're planning to shoot or what kind of background you want to have, what kind of like branding and image you want to put behind it. So mine I knew was going to be more apartment style because my product is for postpartum. So I wanted to have shots like in different locations. We ended up doing some in the bedroom, some in the bathroom. Those came out really funny because it's a product that people use at home. The mesh underwear, they're using them when they get home from the hospital. They're still recovering. It's not something, it's not showcasing leggings that you would maybe have a photo shoot out on the street for. So I did know that I wanted to do that. And then I also wanted to have a plain white background too, because you also could want some shots that are more that you can either change out the color in the background or that are just very like neutral. So I knew I would have some around the house and then some that looked very neutral. Especially for product photography, it really makes a difference, and you want to, well, and there are also requirements. So to sell on a lot of platforms, like Amazon, for example, or even for your own shop page, you want to have the product on a nice white background, fitting in their specifications. Because, on places like Amazon, you are not allowed to have background colors and images. They want everything to look uniform for that first profile picture. Okay, so that's some of the logistics around photographers, models, and locations. What I probably could have talked about before, but I want to talk about now, is more around your look and your brand and what you're going after. So this takes more of the planning up front on your part. So while you're working through those logistics, you can also be building, you should have some of this built already, but then be building it along the way is your plan for what you want to see happen at the photo shoot. So really we're looking at thinking about what do you want for your brand, right? Like what do you want to portray? What kind of mood? Like is it going to be something fun? Is it going to be something serious? Is it going to be something playful? Like what are the different kinds of feelings and emotions that you want to come up from it, and what are some of those colors or things that you have in mind to go with it as well. So what I did, and I have a download to share with you too, but what I did was first I kind of looked at other products in my space, not necessarily postpartum underwear, but generally, products like, well, clothing for one thing, underwear, because I could also look at general underwear and see, what kinds of things they did. I had an idea already for the brand, like what I wanted the feeling to be for the brand. I wanted to use bright colors, like my website was going to be updated with bright colors, make it fun. It's mesh underwear, but the tagline is life is meshy, but you don't have to be. So I wanted it to be really feeling like the playful side of all of that, and not just, the seriousness and heaviness that comes with postpartum. So for me, I had that in my head already. What I didn't have was I didn't know what kinds of shots I would want to have. Now, like what I wanted to walk away with from the photo shoot. Now, this is super, super, super important because you have to have direction and planning ahead of the photo shoot, because you need to tell the photographer what you're looking for and what you want. The photographer is going to be looking to you for you to explain that to them. And then they're going to go take photos based on what you explain. So this is where the download comes in handy. I put together a document that had all of this information, and going back to the branding and looking at other underwear companies or just other brands in general, since I'm an e-commerce business, how do they showcase their products? What does the styling look like? I looked at a lot of that stuff ahead of time so that I could decide what kinds of things I liked and didn't like and pick them and then put them together. So I personally I used Instagram. I searched on Google for images, but I basically went around looking at, lifestyle products, photography, lifestyle and product photography, to get an idea like what different brands do, what kind of poses they have with models, because I had never worked with models before. So what kind of poses are there to think about? Do you want Are you looking more at, like in my case again, underwear, so it's like the bottom half of the body? Do you want full body shots? Like, do you want the models more like hugging or leaning against each other? Or I'm like moving as I'm doing this. Um, all of those kinds of things. So I looked for inspiration. It's kind of like, I mean, I guess you could do it on Pinterest too. It's kind of like making a Pinterest board of like the things that you like, right? The different images that you like, and then compiling that all together. So I put a bunch of screenshots of different images, graphics that I liked. I put them all together in one document, and it's really like a photo shoot brief. So I put them all in one spot so that I could show it all to the photographer and share with them. And rather than me just explaining with words, I could also explain to them, showing them another graphic, which is a great example for them. And then we could talk through, what I liked or what I didn't like, because they're looking to be very visual. So showing them in a visual way is really helpful. So the brief has a few parts. That's like the big chunk of the middle. The first part of it is more around logistics. When you have that kind of stuff set, you can put it in there. It's, what, where's your location? Where's the shoot taking place? How long is it going to be? All of those kinds of things. And also things to consider like props. Are you bringing props? What kinds of props? Like, you have to think about all the background. Like, if you're having a plain white background, are you always having a plain white background? Or do you sometimes want to have a sign? I got a letterboard from Amazon or Etsy, and I got two different ones because I wasn't sure which color border I would like. I got a white one and a wood color one, different sizes. Because depending on how the model's holding it, it might show up different ways. So thinking about all those things, the props and those details. So all of that goes in the brief too. So it's logistics, it's extras like props, and then it's a whole bunch of also images and ideas and inspiration for what you want your shoot to look like. That is huge. If there's one thing that you have to do and invest the time in, it's that. Because come photo shoot day, it's a whole different story. Like, you're going to be so busy with so many things. The photographer is going to be asking you in the moment, like, oh, like, what do you think about this? Or did we get, the big thing the photographer is going to ask you is, did we get all the shots that you want? Well, Alexis did, at least. I don't know if everybody does, but they're going to want to make sure that they're getting what you want them to get. So, I had a printout of the brief. I had like two printouts of the brief and the photo shoot brief, not the briefs, the underwear. I did have samples of those though. That's the other thing. If you have if you're having a product, bring extras of the product for the models, or if you want also product packaging, photos, all of those kinds of things. So you have to think through all of that. Like, what is it going to look like? And then make sure you have all the pieces of that. So I was literally like holding the brief document and showing the photographer like, okay, I want to make sure we do this kind of shot. And then I would check it off the list once we did it, and then move on to the next thing. And she would say, okay, what's next? It was also very helpful to show the models. So if you have models, giving them a visual of what you're looking for can help them with how they're, the photographer will direct them and stuff too, but it's helpful to show them what kind of look you're going for. So that's another big piece of it. Also, so let's talk now a little bit about photo shoot day. So ahead of the event, you're doing all the preparations. You're understanding the logistics with the photographer, with getting models, with all your props and your inspiration on your debrief, on your briefing document, all of those things. Then for the actual day of the photo shoot, so I prepared all the stuff, the day before. I made sure I had all the materials, all the props, all the extra things, extras of the underwear, extras of the packaging, the letterboards, all of that stuff. And then for the day of, it's really important, if you can, have help. Okay, so like have someone helping you, like an assistant director or whatever, someone that can also have a copy of the briefing document. So for example, if you're going to be in the photos, you want someone else holding that briefing document and saying like, okay, did we get all the things we need to get, and referencing back to it. because you're going to forget. You're going to be in the moment there. A lot of things are going on. People are going in and out. It's very hectic. And you want to make sure that you don't miss anything because this is your chance. You're making an investment in these photos. You want it to last. You don't want to walk away and say, "Oh, I put in all this time and work, and now I didn't really get the photos that I wanted." So that's a really big thing for the day of, to have someone helping you. Another part of that could also be that they could be helping you with taking behind the scenes videos, behind the scenes photos, putting them on Instagram for you, or even just saving them. And then at the end of the day, you could put them on. But if there's someone there helping you with all those extra little things, it's also really good because, like I said, you're going to be busy. Your head's going a bunch of different directions. And that's just a way that you can, keep up with everything. So I had my sister helping me as my assistant director. And she took photos and behind the scenes for me. And she also, on the side, like while the models were and the photographer was taking pictures and everything, she interviewed me and asked me a couple questions that then I, like later, a couple weeks later, I released like in little clips in my Instagram feed. Things about why I started brief transitions, or, how are mesh underwear helpful, those kinds of things. And then it was a little bit of me giving a piece of the story of the brand, of the product. And, and it was cool because there was like, a little bit of noise like in the background from everyone buzzing around. It felt cool. But yeah, so that's it. It gives a different style versus the other opportunities you have where you're recording maybe more, on your own. So this was a special chance to have that buzz around and the excitement and feel all of that and show that and have it reflect in the video and in the photos. So I'm going to have a download for this briefing document in case it helps you. So I'll share that. Make it your own, do what works for you. The important thing is to have all those details laid out, like really, really, really. You can't be too detailed. Truly. So have all those details laid out ahead of time, and plan. Things will happen the day of, that's fine, but like the more you have planned and the ideas that you want to have in the photos ahead of time, the better, because then you won't be dragging out a photo shoot. The photographers don't like if you're just like, "Oh, I don't know." If you don't know what you're looking for, how are they supposed to make the photos for you? Same for the models. If they don't know what you're looking for, how are they supposed to know like how to pose, So any information and inspiration and feedback and ideas that you can share with them ahead of time is super helpful and super important. I will leave you with that today. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out, mary@thetransitionscollective.com. I'm wishing you a great success with your photo shoot, whenever it may be. And yeah, if this was helpful, share it with someone else. I'd love to get the word out and help people with this type of information. Anything that I've experienced that it's like, okay, I'm going through all of that, I try to then summarize it in here so that it can help someone else. So with that, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.